Crazy world spinning round.
Stay grounded.
In our hearts simple truths agree. Whisper of freedom and liberty
Rings true.
Our foundation strong and deep. Holding on to what we know, while the rest of the world lets go. Steady paths we choose to follow, while the winds of change blow. In the story we've built for trust and doubt, time flies but we won't bend. Communists talk loud and fast.
Stay silent.
Our quiet strength is our reply. So salute to change but pause.
Reflect.
In unity our dearest friend. Holding on to what we know, while the rest of the world lets go. Steady paths we choose to follow, while the winds of change blow. In shadows we find our light. Through chaos we stay upright.
Stay
with courage, faith on our side.
forever.
Standing firm, our guide. Holding on to what we know, while the rest of the world lets go. Steady paths we choose to follow, while the winds of change blow.
In the shadows they gather, with their banners raised high, a song of defiance echoes beneath the sky. They rise up in the night with passion burning bright.
Dancing to the radio, spinning round in the glow. Carried dreams on the wind to see our heroes begin. Which shout will they light the way, with courage shining bright today, holding hands through the fights and fears, together against the tide of years. Remember when the heart stood tall. In the shadows they stand, with courage so bold, fighting for the land, legends to behold. They whisper of hope, like tales of old. Right-wing heroes rise, their stories unfold. Oh, they carry the flame ever bright, guiding us home through the night.
In the heart of the jungle there's a whisper. John Birch, a soldier, takes the lead. With the spirit so brave he conquers darkness. On his mission hear the call, take heed. Through the shadows red wild winds blow. He's seeking the truth where few dare to go. John in the heart of the wild, John on a journey so styled, John in the heart a guiding light for every soul that's searching for peace in his heart. May the sorrow cease. John in the heart of the wild, John on a journey so styled, John in the heart of the
We stand firm in our belief.
Hold tight.
Through the times clearer we can see. Crazy world spinning round.
Stay grounded.
In our hearts simple truths of breathe. Whisper of freedom and liberty.
Rings true.
Our foundation strong and deep. Holding on to what we know, while the rest of the world lets go. Steady paths we choose to follow, while the winds of change blow. In the story we've built for trust and
Never doubt.
time flies but we won't bend. Communists talk loud and fast.
Stay silent.
I thought the world would turn slower, not as fast as it does. Conservative hearts were steady, sure and just because. A simpler time of values, when right was what it was. It seems like those days vanished with just a fleeting pause.
Right-wing dreams of yesterday, steady in the fray, keeping timeless traditions, leading all the way.
Times are changing, feel the buzzing, staying true when they're fussing. Keep the flag a-flying through stormy nights, with the star-spangled banner I stand tall with manners. Cross my heart with hope in sight. Here comes freedom in the land of hope and glory, with liberty. Stick to values in the trends. Families gather, let's defend. Hold the line, keep the bond alive. Truth in our vision, in God we make decisions. For our dream, true, thrive and strive. Here comes freedom in the land of hope and prairie, with liberty. We'll keep fighting for what's right, standing strong in the night. Here comes freedom in the land of hope and bravery, with liberty. In our little town so serene, where the grass is green, air so clean, we gather round the table every night. Joyful days, oh, once I yet, with values passed, with generations past, living life with love that'll surely last. As the city lights look bright, we hold to our roots tight. In our hearts the same fires, guided by the good old days. Sharing moments with friends always divine. Working hard for what we seek, respecting each word we speak, holding dear to our family ties underneath these nostalgic skies. As the city lights so bright got you tight, and our hearts the same old fire. Dear, oh yeah. We sway with every change of time, but in our hearts old love and soul that made baby in our heart, getting like a golden heart in this fast-paced world we can fight. Traditions keep our hearts going wild, but you'll find in our hearts simple ways we got it by the good old
We stand firm in our belief.
Hold tight.
Through the times clearer we can see. Crazy world spinning round.
Stay grounded.
In our hearts simple truths agree. Whisper of freedom and liberty.
Rings true.
Our foundation strong and deep. Holding on to what we know, while the rest of the world lets go. Steady paths we choose to follow, while the winds of change blow. In the story we built for trust in you,
No doubt.
time flies but we won't bend. Communists talk loud and fast.
Stay solid.
Our quiet strength is our reply. So salute to change but pause.
Reflect.
In unity our dearest friend. Holding on to what we know, while the rest of the world lets go. Steady paths we choose to follow, while the winds of change blow. In shadows we find our light. Through chaos we stay upright.
Stay
With courage, faith on our side.
forever.
Standing firm, our guide. Holding on to what we know, while the rest of the world lets go. Steady paths we choose to follow, while the winds of change blow.
Hello, everyone, and oh, there's my microphone. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Culturama, where on this show we are trying to reclaim the zeitgeist of traditional Americana back into the United States, the one that we have lost so long ago with the infection of postmodernism and questionable cultures entering our country and our higher institutions, whether that be major governmental institutions or academic institutions. But it has completely and fundamentally changed the culture of America, and it's on a downward slope. And so the goal of this show is to hopefully recapture some elements of the present discourse, whether it's online or in person, to have necessary and sometimes uncomfortable conversations in order to change that discourse and that cultural narrative. I want to thank everyone that has joined us today. I apologize for being out last week. I know I did a Thursday show last week, but I didn't do my Saturday night streaming, and I didn't do my Tuesday streaming, but I was out with the stomach flu. I was completely decimated. I was practically dead. I know I did a Thursday show because I really pushed myself to do it, but afterwards, you guys, I was just completely out. So, but thank you for sticking it through. I apologize for being gone, but We are back. I made a full recovery. I feel healthier than ever. And I've also heard that a lot of other people were getting the stomach bug. So it's been going around. Maybe it's COVID 2.0, but we know that they're not going to get away with that again. But thank you everyone that have been patient with me being gone. But we have still a lot to cover on the show. I know I feel like I say that in the beginning of every show, but every episode is important, obviously, and this one I feel is especially important considering some of the sensitive nature of some of the topics that we will be talking about today. Some more sensitive than others, but I want to go off on a bang here and maybe show you guys a little bit of a comedic video first before we proceed. But you're gonna want to you're gonna sit on the edge of your seats for the remainder of this episode, everyone. But I do want to remind you also it's Tuesday, so there's no time limit on how long I can stream. So if we're gonna end up going longer, we go longer. If not, that's fine. But I want to thank everyone that has joined us so far already, and for those that will continually join and pour into the show as we continue. I want to say hello to those that have joined us so far. I see Fiery Waco has just entered the chat. Hello, Fiery Waco. Thank you for joining the Culturama stream. We are finally back on air after being gone for an entire week. I see Pork Chop 159. Hello, Pork Chop. Welcome to the Culturama stream. We have Barney Styles, the Liberty Tonight Show. Hey guys, we have the Liberty Tonight Show. They stream. They're also part of the For Liberty Network, and they stream every Thursday evening right after my show. It looks like, however, they're going to be out for this week, and that's very unfortunate, you guys. I really love watching your streams, but it looks like they're out today. More time for me on Thursday night, I guess. We have Barney Styles in the stream, Bruiser55. Hello, everyone. Cecilia H., it's really good to see you again. I haven't seen you in a while, so thank you for joining us today. We also have, let's see here, Robbie Thurman as well. Hello, Robbie. Very good to see you. I'm sure I'm going to see the rest of my usuals today as we proceed further with this stream. But my goodness, you guys, these last few days in the news have... It has been really jam-packed with a series of events, but the one that really has caught my attention the most, and quite unfortunately, it is a bit of a more sad story, but it's a necessary one, and that is the Carmelo Anthony case. Yes, his bond was reduced, and people are saying some heinous stuff, not about him, which probably would be done rightfully so, but actually against the victim, Austin Metcalf, the one who was slain. And so people are actually celebrating the fact that it seems like justice will not be served in the Carmelo Anthony case. And I'm going to be touching on that. We also have a lot more headlines to cover as well, including Harvard University pushing back against the Trump dictates that he has been throwing on the higher academic institutions that I talk about so often on this show, and against their many DEI narratives and so forth. And Harvard University thinks that they're doing quite a revolutionary act by pushing back and not following through. But I think we know the fate of Harvard University. Their fate has already been sealed. They are a failed institution. We're going to be talking about that. And I see you guys may have noticed I have Pitbulls as well on the thumbnail. Yes, another Pitbull case has occurred. Another life was taken. Now that is sad. A child was eaten by a pit bull. No surprise there in Ohio. But that made me want to dive into some of the statistics on pit bulls and the more grander conversation that relates to that. That and much more on Culturama today, everyone. Thank you for joining in. I see more people are pouring in. It's going to be a really fun stream today. But before I get to all of that, I know a few female celebrities flew out to space. I'm not going to be talking about that as much, but maybe I'll touch on that story as well. And we have a lot more. But I did want to play a kind of a funny video for all of you guys. But before we do that, I do want to let you guys know, please like and share the stream before we watch a very funny video of JD Vance absolutely fumbling in public. I want to encourage you to please like and share the stream. Like it on Rumble. And if you're watching on X, which is my most viewed platform, please share and retweet the stream, like the stream. Let's get it out to as many eyes as we can. We have been experiencing upward growth on the Culturama podcast, and that is so exciting. And I just want to continue that trend. So if you guys could very well please like and share the stream once again, whether that be on Rumble, YouTube, Twitch, or X. That would be very much appreciated. Hello, Evan Rowan on Rumble. Very good to see you. I also see we had some Twitch viewers as well. I saw, who was it? Doc Upside. Hello, Doc Upside on Twitch as well. Very good to see you. Twitch, I have only one viewer. It never goes past 3 viewers. 5, I think, is the most I got. But if you are watching on Twitch, share the stream as well. That, that's another platform you can grow on. Additionally, if you want to even go a step further in watching the Culturama revolution take place, the real revolution, the cultural revolution, please go to the ap4libertyshop.com. Once again, that is the letter A, the letter P, the number 4, libertyshop.com. And there you can type in the Culturama collection and you will find a lot of Culturama related items, such as this Culturama logo pillow. We have pillows of my dog. We have body pillows of me in a spacesuit, if that is more up your alley. And we have coffee as well. And that is my most popular product, is the Atomic Blonde coffee. Go and consider getting it. And I am just like the quartering, I am a humble coffee merchant now, so I highly encourage you guys to drink that coffee. It is delicious, whether it's hotly brewed or brewed over ice. Since the warm season's coming up, it's very warm where I live, which is surprising. I actually have club soda in here today. I drank enough coffee today, but I do drink the coffee for this stream, and it's very delicious. Also, if you want yourself a Culturama mug, we have this on the shop as well. So anyways, my plugs are over. Mr. Pig, welcome to the Culturama stream. He writes, smash that like button. Exactly. Bruiser55 wrote, the revolution will not be televised. However, it is for sale. Exactly, Bruiser55. Also, you guys, I do want to say one more thing. If you want to directly have me answer any of your questions, comments, or cover a particular story that you just don't think I'm doing its due justice, or having my reporting diligence on display, please send in a Rumble rant. It could be as little as $2 to $20 or more. And not only will I be directly interacting with you, but of course you will help the stream as well. And that's just a direct line of communication, but only send that through Rumble because that's the place where I receive it the most. Anyways, I want to watch a very awkward situation with you guys. How would you deal if this was you? Okay. The CFP National Championship trophy falls apart as JD Vance tries to hold it aloft at the White House. Let's watch this. So he's getting it. And it falls. Look at that, you guys. Is this a dorky move, or did JD Vance handle this well? So you would ordinarily think that people are watching over here. You would ordinarily think that this trophy would be like fastened and it would be very stable, but it's not, and kind of a bluff. Now, the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because a lot of people were complaining about it. And welcome to the stream, Blumpkin Zero. I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome. Hello indeed. Very good to see you. We were just watching this video of JD Vance trying to hold up a trophy here, and he completely fumbled and it fell. Now, obviously, this is not like breaking news. I just thought it was funny because a lot of people are saying that JD Vance is a dorky president, and this kind of, made me think about this. Do you guys really do think JD Vance is dorky? I know a lot of people on the right have been like, bolstering him as the next big thing, as Trump's the next guy to carry the Trump mantle, and to bring forward and forth the Trump legacy forward into the future. Now, welcome to the stream, Bugs Nasty. Good to see you. But here, I don't know if this is like a leftist, I don't know, maybe this is a leftist account, but people are saying he's dorky, and that actually JD Vance is not only a dork, but he's quite unrelatable to the Trump base. Now, the Trump base has to like him, and they're forced to like him. And that's kind of the talking point that I have been, hearing from even some right-wingers saying that, people are kind of forced to like JD Vance. The Trump regime does not reflect or embody the values that, or perhaps even the persona rather, not so much values, but the persona and the personal zeitgeist that JD Vance exudes. And people are saying he's kind of he's kind of a dork. He used to be a chubby emo, and granted, he's come a long way since then, but is JD Vance a dork? I personally don't think so. I actually relate to JD Vance a lot. His lack of charisma is a form of charisma, and I think that's beautiful. And I feel like I sometimes embody that here on the show with you guys on Culturama. I don't think I have charisma. In fact, if you know me in person, not many of you do. Some that are watching do. Maybe you guys can attest to this or not. I sort of lack a certain level, perhaps you could say, of charisma. But in a way, some people think that is a form of charisma. That's something that this country very much needs. And, even if you fumble a trophy, that could still be its very own, how would I say? Its very own Chad move. Bruiser 55 row. I think we've still had a major upgrade in the VP role. Well, yeah, since the last one, this one is quite the upgrade. It's even a better upgrade. It's a upgrade from Pence. I don't mind Pence, but he's a good blend of Elon and Trump. Beautifully said, Barney Styles. Beautifully said. You're right. It is a unique blend because he does sort of have that charismatic. I wouldn't call JD Vance charismatic, but he kind of has this populist sentiment. Considering JD Vance's, life story, this populist sentiment of Trump, and he blends it with Elon Musk's autistic, awkward elitism. It's a very unique blend, and I like it. I'm here for it. You guys, I'll be right back. I'm going to be pulling up the next couple stories here, and we have what am I talking about next? Oh my goodness, you guys, the giant Hanuman statue. Oh, you guys are in for a treat. For those that don't know who Hanuman is, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. That is the monkey god. If you don't know what the heck it is I'm talking about, stay tuned and I'll talk with you guys here. Next, coming up, you're going to like this next story. So cling to your seats and we shall be right back.
Well, here comes Danny Yellow like Marilyn with a twist. She's got a master's degree and a style you can't resist. On Culturama, baby, we're shaking up the scene. So hit that like, make it click, you know what we mean. Like and subscribe, come on, don't delay. With Daniela at the helm, we're leading the way. It's Culturama, taking back tomorrow today.
You have to force behaviors, and at BlackRock, we are forcing behaviors.
Mao ordered his citizens to throw off the four olds. Old thinking, old culture, old customs, and old habits. So, your whole life went in the garbage overnight, no biggie. And those who resisted were attacked by an army of purifiers called the Red Guard, who went around the country putting dunce caps on people. Yeah. Who didn't take to being a new kind of mortal being.
If you don't force behaviors, whether it's gender or race or just any way you want to say the composition of your team, you're going to be impacted.
Well, things haven't been so sweet for Ben & Jerry's after the company posted an anti-American tweet, a few of them, on the 4th of July. The ice cream makers declared the United States was founded on stolen indigenous land.
Well, someone should tell Target that because they're now selling swimsuits with tuckums in the women's section of the store. And they even have a line just for kids.
Yeah, we're going to reach out to Ben & Jerry's and ask them how they can live with themselves as they operate a multi-billion-dollar company on stolen land while declaring other people give up their so-called stolen land.
This is the child section. This is literally the kids section. I'm next to a literal onesie that says whatever the hell that means. We have glad you came out, and I'm so happy that you're queer. In the kids section. Are you kidding me? I'm sorry, but pride and toddler don't belong in the same sentence.
Good news! Starbucks will offer its workers reimbursement of travel expenses related to accessing abortion and gender-affirming procedures.
Kyle Rittenhouse was seen wearing a Black Rifle Coffee Company shirt, and they wanted to distance themselves from that individual. The employees at the company also were donating to Democrats. Hafer doubled down on throwing many in his base under the bus, describing them as racist and a repugnant group of people.
Hey, Liberty lovers, stop scrolling, because if you're tired of the same old news, then I've got just the wake-up call for you. I want to thank you for tuning in to Culturama, and I know that you're enjoying every minute of it. Join us at rumble.com/AP4Liberty. The Wake Up America show is Mondays through Fridays, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. It's a great way to start your day. Coffee's optional, but waking up is mandatory. Remember, at Wake Up America, we'll keep you sharp, we'll keep you laughing, most of all, we'll keep you free. I'll see you in the morning.
Okay, guys, let's open up with this video here. Just take a look at that. Are you feeling it? I'm feeling it. Are you guys ready for a new Texas? Look at that. It's huge. So, this is a statue of Hanuman. Let's read this together. Bombshell, a 90-foot tall Hanuman statue. This person says a satanic Hindu deity. I'm not going to say it's satanic, but it's a Hindu deity that was created in Sugar Land, Texas. Why is Texas allowing false god statues to be built? We have Sharia law in cities, and now this. Okay, which Pokemon is that, Mr. Big? Which Pokemon is that? It's a very good question. One that's very difficult to catch, as you can tell, a very large one indeed. So yes, I like Hanuman, actually. I do appreciate the Hindu religion. I'm not Hindu, obviously. I don't know if you guys, if you're new here, I just want to reiterate and clarify, I'm not Hindu. I'm the exact opposite of that. However, I do have an appreciation for different religions. I like to study on different religions. It's very interesting to me. And so that's why I said what I said. I think Hanuman's actually a very, I'm not going to say a positive symbol, but, you know, it's a different deity, so I'm not here to push that. But it's not like a negative entity, okay? However, there is a bigger question, obviously, being had. Why is there a 90-foot tall statue of a Hindu deity in Texas, of all places? Now, of course, we've had similar statues other places in the United States. I'm sure that you guys have heard of the others. The Athena statue, I think it was. I believe it was in Tennessee, although someone can correct me if I'm wrong. Sharia is Islamic law. I wonder if that was a meth fueled tweet. Yeah, I don't think that person is saying this is Islamic or this has anything related to do with Islam. What he's stating is that we have already Sharia law in cities, and now we have the Hindu deities as well. So this person seems to be aware that this is a Hindu deity, but the Sharia law obviously is extremely problematic. Now, I personally don't think that this statue is anything on par with instituting Sharia law in local jurisdictions. However, it is on the pathway there, and this is why I have a problem with this. Welcome to the stream, Hover Spool. Very good to see you. You wrote that, yes, there is an Athena statue in Tennessee. I live down the street from it. Hover Spool, let me know if you actually visited that statue. It'd be interesting. I want to visit it. Now, yes, another pagan deity, the Athena statue. There's others as well. And, I actually, at least the Athena statue, you could somehow say and misconstrue that it's somewhat related, even tangentially related to Western civilization, more so than this statue. But, it's still a pagan entity. But this is why I have more issues with this statue than I do with the Athena statue, and I'm gonna get into that. But first, before I do, $2 whole from Quest Fanning. Very good to see you, Quest Fanning. Welcome to Culturama today. We are back fully healthy and recovered from last week. Thank you for joining. Quest Fanning wants to see, he wrote, good evening to you, Quest Fanning. He wrote, Yakub. Quest Fanning, do you think we should have a Yakub statue? I think that's a great idea. It would make a lot of sense here in the United States. Let's read this article together, you guys. From Houston Public Media. Sugar Land area Hindu temple now home to the third largest statue in the United States. It depicts Hanuman, a Hindu deity who is shown as a figure with the monkey's face. He was a very popular figure in the Ramayana, which is a piece of literature that I read a while ago in college. I would recommend, again, I'm not going to bash on religions. I'm not going to sit here and say they're all false. It's, a ridiculous religion. I'm going to focus on the cultural elements where, specific values and lifestyles emanate from these religions. That is where I look at this entire issue here. I think there is a lot of power in knowing the doctrine and the myths and the legends surrounding certain belief systems. And I think that's actually quite interesting and important for us to be cultured in that way. But you also have to look at the fruits that those religions and the cultures that emanate from that, the kind of fruit that produces. And as we will come to see on this part of the stream, the fruit that it emanates is not that great. Let's keep reading. A temple in Fort Bend County is now home to the third largest statue in the United States. The Sri Ashtalakshmi Temple dedicated the 90-foot, 90-ton statue of Union earlier this month. The statue depicts Hanuman, the Hindu deity who helped rescue and kidnap the wife of Rama, another deity and king. Rama is the manifestation, or one of the many manifestations of Vishnu, which is part of the Hindu Trinity. Just so you guys know. A quote, Hanuman is a symbol of united communities, uniting people behind a goal, says Vijay. I don't know how to read that word. You guys see that? Srinaraj. I'm going to try to say it here. Srinarasimahai. Did I get that? Okay. The temple's vice president. Here's an example of a good spiritual leader because he brings people together. The statue was designed in India by His Holiness Sri Chinnajiyar Swamiji. The parts were manufactured in China. Where else? Then shipped to the United States and assembled at the temple. Okay, beautiful. Wonderful. Again, these names, you guys, these names are they're gonna give me another stomach flu. Prasad Gadiraju, the temple's president, said, forgive me for my Western ignorance. The temple's president said that there's a reason behind the statue's height and weight. Maybe because it's a graven image. 90 is a very significant number. Okay, it's an auspicious number. So there you guys have it, 90 on 90 on 90. Very important numbers here. According to the World Atlas, the Statue of Liberty is the tallest statue in the United States, standing at 101 feet tall, excluding the pedestal, followed by the Pegasus and the Dragon at 110 feet in Florida. The statue depicts Hanuman as a human figure with a monkey's face. This is a sign of benevolence. This is how Hanuman is usually depicted. It is really Hanuman's blessing to the public or to all of his devotees. Okay, this is where it gets kind of weird. While the temple has a Sugar Land address, it is located in the extraterritorial jurisdiction of Houston. Good old Houston. Always. Houston is a unique area. Very unique. Good job, you guys. Meaning the latter was responsible for issuing permits at the temple. Oh, I see we have a little flame war in the comments. I see a donation from Cecilia H. Thank you so much for the $5 donation, Cecilia. You wrote, freedom of religion means the ability of people to choose what to follow. As long as the government is using taxes to pay for it, not my business. There are tall crosses, statues of Jesus found in other places. Very true, Cecilia. And, you know, I agree with you on that. Once again, I'm not here to say that this is, you know, all bad. Okay, I'm not here to say that no Hindus are not allowed to practice their religion in the United States. But what I do want to reiterate here is that this is an indication of a growing trend that we have been seeing within the last few generations. And I'm going to talk about those statistics. Now, I want you guys to look at the bigger picture. It's not the religion itself that I have an issue with. It's not the issue itself that there's one statue of a Hindu deity somewhere in Texas. I don't even live in Texas. It doesn't affect me personally. But what I want us to think about is a bigger picture that's happening. We have been seeing more than in the past, more mosques being erected, more deities like this, okay? More Guru Nanaks and other temples from those types of cultures. And although I'm not saying the existence of those temples in and of themselves are bad, it's a pattern that we should be aware of. And that's what I want to focus on today. And the reason for why I want to focus on that, I'm going to explain further. Say not using tax. Yeah, I figured I knew what you said, Cicely, that they're not using taxes. I agree. Having the Hindus and Muslims been fighting a war in Kashmir for 75 years. Yeah, Barney Styles. And I hope they don't bring that war here in the United States, because we are seeing kind of an uptick in devotees of the Hindu religion as well as the Muslim religion. So this is what I wanted to bring up. This is the Pew Research Center, okay? The Future of World Religions, Population Growth Projections from 2010 to 2050. And this is what I want to read to you guys here today, specifically this part. Okay. The impact of migration can be seen in examples shown in the graph on the right, which compares projection scenarios with and without migration in regions where it has the greatest impact. Okay? In Europe, for instance, the Muslim share the population is expected to increase from nearly 6% in 2010 to 10% in 2050. When migration is taken into account with other demographic factors that are driving population change. Without migration, the Muslim share of Europe's population in 2050 is projected to be nearly 2 percentage points lower than 8.4%. In North America, the Hindu share of the population is expected to nearly double in the decades ahead. Double. From 0.7%, which was incredibly low, not many Hindus in the United States in 2010, to 1.3% in 2050, when migration is included in the projection models. Without migration, the Hindu share of the region's population would remain at about 0.8%. Okay, so like this paragraph is saying, and the rest of the study is saying, migration obviously has a great impact on the increase of these demographics and these religious populations. And once again, it is projected to double. Now, you guys are thinking that 1.3% isn't a lot of people. And I suppose you could say in the grand scheme of things, it isn't. But 1.3% of people individually held against yourself, if you put yourself in the picture, is actually a lot of people. And this is just showing where the trends are leaning. And there was a section here that I wanted to also read about Christianity in Europe and North America. Let's read this part together. Europe is the only region where the total population is projected to decline. Europe's Christian population is expected to shrink by about 100 million people in the coming decades, dropping from 500 million people to 450 million people. So 550 million to 450 million. Okay? That is 100 million people in the coming decades. That is a lot of Christians. While Christians will remain the largest religious group in Europe, thank God, I really hope it does, they are projected to drop from 3/4 of the population to less than 2/3. By 2050, nearly a quarter of Europeans, that is 23%, are expected to have no religious affiliation. This is true. Non-belief is a growing trend amongst Generation Z and in the projected generations. And Muslims will make up at about 10% of the religious population, up from 5.9% in 2010. Over the same period, the number of Hindus in Europe is expected to roughly double. So what's happening in the United States will happen in Europe as well. From little under 1.4 million to nearly 2.7 million. Mainly as a result, once again, of immigration. Okay? Buddhists appear headed for similarly rapid growth, which is highly unusual because Buddhists have always been the smallest population, to nearly double the growth in Europe, projected to rise from 1.4 million to 2.5 million. I want to clarify this, you guys. A lot of people are saying that white people, Christians particularly, aren't having a lot of kids, and this is why this is happening. Technically, that is true. But what this study is saying, and a lot of more studies that I had pulled out yesterday, it's, even though that is technically the reason, that is not the direct impact. It's not as though all Christians are deciding, or a great vast majority of Christians are deciding not to have kids for the heck of it. This is a direct result of migration. Okay? These populations are increasing because of migration. And additionally, on top of that, not only are we bringing and importing these belief systems in and these peoples in, but immigration from areas that are incompatible cultures with the host culture. That causes for a lack of reproduction amongst the host population. And as we have been experiencing the conversation with ICE and deportations with the present administration, these statistics have been coming out, and people have been saying that it seems as though the direct result of why Westerners, why Americans, and why potentially even, it seems in this case, Europeans aren't wanting to have a positive replacement rate is because of these intense periods of immigration. That this is a form of destabilization, cultural destabilization, as well as ideological destabilization, that is causing the host peoples and the host populations to not want to have a positive total fertility rate or a replacement rate. And that is concerning. Why is it concerning, you may ask? I will answer that in a minute, but I'm sure you can figure out why that is concerning. Why is it concerning that it's just a particular religion or a particular culture that is overcoming the host cultures? There's two things wrong with that. First and foremost, it does look like an invasion. I'm sorry to break it to you guys, but it is a form of cultural invasion. It's an ideological invasion. If this was happening anywhere else in the country, it would be probably treated, most likely, I'm willing to bet my left arm, it would be treated as such. And there will be certain policies and directives taking place to prevent that. But when it comes to Europe and the United States and North America, and Canada, we're supposed to just roll over and take it and think it's normal. Okay? Let's read a little bit more about in North America. In North America, Muslims and followers of other religions, it puts in quotes, are the fastest growing religious groups. Muslims are the fastest growing religious group. In the United States, for example, the share of the population that belongs to other religions is projected to more than double, albeit from a very small base, rising from 0.6% to 1.5%. Christians are projected to decline from 78% of the U.S. population in 2010 to 66% in 2050. While the unaffiliated are expected to rise from 16 to 26. And by the middle of the 21st century, the United States is likely to have more Muslims than people who identify with the Jewish faith, which is averaging at about 1.4%. Okay, so there's your little chart. Oh, page not found. Can't click on the chart. You can see it right there. Religious composition of the United States from 2010 to 2050. Okay, and this article goes on to talk about like the Caribbean, which we don't care about. Well, what does it say actually? Christians, yeah, in the Caribbean, Christians will remain the largest religious group, which means nothing if they're talking about Haiti, but because they mostly practice voodoo, but they probably classify that as Christianity because they mix it in with Christianity, so that may not even be completely accurate. While many people have offered predictions about the future of religion, these are the first formal demographic projections using data on age, fertility, mortality, migration, and religious switching for multiple religious groups around the world. Demographics in the Pew Research Center in Washington, D.C., and the International Institute for Applied Systems Analysis in Luxembourg, Austria, gathered the input data from more than 2,500 censuses, surveying the population registers, an effort that has taken 6 years and will continue. And so this is obviously a phenomenon that has been studied for quite a while, and people are continuing to study it. But I just kind of want us to, sit with this and kind of mull it over and maybe hash out what exactly is maybe wrong with this scenario. Again, as libertarians watching this show, I'm sure many of you are. You may be thinking, why does it matter that we have people that happen to worship a different God than I do? It's fine as long as they're good people, right? Well, yes, obviously, as long as they're good people. And every culture has their good people. But it's not the people that I'm concerned about. It is the values of that culture. And why does it matter? Because religion and culture go hand in hand. They're inextricably related. And so all you have to do is to look at the histories of certain cultures and certain nations and certain continents even, and see what kind of a culture and civilization were those religions responsible for. And I just want you guys to ask yourself, kind of look at the second order thinking here and consider, why is Christianity perhaps necessary for the development and the maintenance and the progress of certain civilizations more so, and why that is more valued more so than perhaps Islam or Hinduism? We have $5 from Entropy Nomad. Hello, Entropy Nomad. Welcome. It's very good to see you again. You wrote, try to put up a Christus in any American city and watch the opposition boil. Anything but Christian symbols are allowed in the name of diversity. Yeah, Entropy Nomad, exactly. Of course, it depends on your community and your area, but for the most part, that's absolutely right. As far as mainstream media is concerned, that's absolutely right. I've been noticing this ever since I was a child. It's like, well, we can see the Star of David anywhere. We can see the Islam, the crescent moon, the symbol. What else is there? I can't. The yin and yang, which is not completely religious, but it's more Taoist. There's many symbols. Basically, what I'm referring to is a coexist bumper sticker. You can see symbols like that anywhere, but when it comes to the cross, that's going to get you looks. So it kind of makes you think, what exactly is going on here? This Christianity, yes, the founding fathers weren't completely Christian, whatever. But Christianity was the founding religion of this country, all the way back to the Pilgrims. This was a founding religion of the country, and it has culturally subdued every element and institution and the founding principles and founding blocks of this or the foundational blocks of this nation. So it's difficult for us as a country, I really do think, to divorce ourselves from, if not the doctrinal elements of Christianity, at least the cultural elements of Christianity. And as a Protestant, I'm saying this, whether that's Protestant Christianity, Catholicism, or whatnot, even Mormonism, and that's a whole other conversation. but I know some Mormons watch me, and, you know, Godspeed to you guys. It is, you could say, an element of Christianity, but Mormonism, once again, a very rich Americanist founding culture, and, you know, I dare say Mormonism is far more American than Islam ever will be. So there's principles and cultural principles embedded in these religions that we need to still acknowledge. We can't just, even as libertarians, look at a religion and say, like, well, you know, First Amendment, whatever, it's covered, we can just turn a blind eye to it. Yes, I mean, legally speaking, people should be able to, you know, worship what they will. But when we see populational trends change, demographic trends change, we need to be wary. The more of these statues we see being lifted up in our country makes me want to consider some, you know, makes me think something else is happening. Okay, the more Hanuman statues we see, and the more temples and the more mosques I see erected in my country, it makes me wonder, is something going on? Okay, what cultural elements you know, of Hinduism are necessarily bad? Well, I do want to Exhibit A right here. This is just a video I found.
This is the dirtiest river in the world. Located in India, the Ganges River is over 1,500 miles long and contains pollutants such as trash, raw sewage, and even bodies. However, it is considered to be extremely sacred in the Hindu religion, and Hindus often bathe in it in the hopes that it will wash away their sins. People say the smell is so bad that they can't even be within a 5-mile radius of the river, as 150 million liters of sewage is dumped in daily. Ingesting the water is also known to cause cholera, typhoid, and tuberculosis. Recently, a Japanese YouTuber was visiting India and decided to bathe in the river herself. As a result, she contacted dysentery, which is caused from an amoeba in the water. So if you haven't heard, this is the dirtiest river in the world. Located in India, the Ganges River is over...
So yeah, I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about the Ganges River. It's supposed to be a holy river, not exactly the cleanest place in the world. I wouldn't, if I were you, go near it. You know, and I don't know what that tourist was thinking. Why go to India? You literally have any country in the world. Why go to India? The capital of hygiene. Here's another one. Delicious. Look at that, making the food. Would you guys eat that? Kind of tasty, right? I wouldn't risk it. Now look, you know, I don't want to, like, just, for lack of a better term, shit on India or their culture. I actually find that culture very interesting, and their history and their religion I find actually very interesting. But it remains, we can't ignore the fact that it's not exactly the most clean, nor is it the most, how would I say, ideologically on par with us. You know, you guys are aware of their caste system. You guys are aware of the cultures at play in India, I would say, are nearly antithetical to those of the United States. And once again, this is the world's oldest religion. Hinduism is. That's what they say. I know there's some debate about that, but some say Zoroastrianism, but whatever. It's. I think Hinduism is like the first. I think it's the oldest religion that actually had like it had literature, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, it has a grander and far back reaching tradition than Christianity, and somehow it seems like Christianity seems to be the religion that is more tied to civilizational progress than Hinduism. So, as you can see here, very clean peoples. Is it still illegal to defame beef in Texas? Asks Barney Styles. I have no idea, Barney. Is that a thing? Is that a thing in Texas? Well, that's a problem because people love eating cows in Texas, and I don't know how the Indians there, the Hindus there, I mean, take it. Someone wrote, okay, Hover Spool wrote, anecdotally, I know several people who have been to India and every single one saw at least one dead body in public. Holy crap, Hover Spool, that's horrifying. Sounds like Vancouver, BC. I'm kidding. That's what Vancouver, BC is turning into, because they're getting their culture changing as well. But that's horrifying. That's horrible. I can't imagine because they have a lot of street animals there too, so that can't be very. Oh my god. Yeah, they treat. Again, this is just what I've heard. This is almost likely a stereotype. They have dead bodies there, but you see them like parading cows in their street and treat cows sometimes better than they do people, which is weird. Anyways, you guys, we have a lot more to cover here. I'm gonna be right back. Hold on a second, let me transition. What am I talking about next? The I think, yeah. It's a Carmelo Anthony case, everybody. Okay, we got to talk about it. His bond was reduced. This is big news, and a lot of conversations are being had about this. So I'm going to be talking about that. But while I'm gone, be sure to check out the ap4libertyshop.com. Thank you so much for your guys' donations that have been donating. Keep them coming. I love to see it. I'm sorry I haven't streamed last week, but I'm back. I'm back, baby. And I'm coming in for the kill. So if you could please, while I'm gone, check out the AP4 Liberty shop and maybe consider buying yourself a bag of coffee, of the Atomic Blonde coffee. It'll keep you up for a very long time. It may even give you insomnia. Tread lightly. Okay, I will be back, everyone. Stay tuned.
Dancing to the radio, spinning round in the glow, carried dreams on the wind to see our heroes begin. Which shout will they light the way, with courage shining bright today, holding hands through the fights and fears, together against the tide of years. Remember when the hearts stood tall. In the shadows they stand, with courage so bold, fighting for the land, legends to behold. They whisper of hope, like tales of old. Right-wing heroes rise, their stories unfold. Oh, they carry the flame ever bright, guiding us home through the night.
We stand for our rights, we won't back down. We'll fire our hearts, we're taking the town. Against the shadows, we'll fight for our land. Together we rise, united we stand. With the beat of the drums, we'll chant and shout across the sweet door, save the hearts of the proud. No room for whispers, for fear and regret. We'll write our own story, you ain't seen nothing yet. We'll freedom we cherish, we'll make the stands. We're ready up to fight, it's time for our dance.
Times are changing, feel the buzzing, staying true when they're fussing. Keep the flag a-flying through stormy nights. With the star-spangled banner, I stand tall with manners. Cross my heart with hope in sight. Here comes freedom in the land of hope and free, with liberty. Stick to values in the trends. Families gather, let's defend. Hold the line, keep the bond alive. Truth in our vision, in God we make decisions. For our dream, true, thrive and strive.
liberty. We'll keep fighting for what's right, standing strong in the night. Here comes freedom in the land of hope and bravery, with liberty. In the shadows they gather, with their banners raised high, a song of defiance echoes beneath the sky. They rise up in the night with passion burning bright.
Dancing to the radio, spinning round in the glow, carried dreams on the wind to see our heroes begin. With shout will they light the way, with courage shining bright today, holding hands through the fights and fears, together against the tide of years. Remember when the heart stood tall.
Charges. 17.
Okay, let's watch this video together,
granted
everyone.
the request to lower the bond for a North Texas teen facing capital murder charges. 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony is accused of stabbing and killing another student at a track meet in Frisco. Anthony claims he acted in self-defense. Chris Sadeghi live from the courthouse in McKinney. And Chris, the judge heard from Anthony's family this morning before making her decision.
Yeah, Kara, this hearing just wrapped up about 30 minutes ago. In it, we heard from Carmelo Anthony's father. He testified about his son, and in the end, the judge did decide to lower the bond from $1 million to $250,000. Carmelo Anthony entered the courtroom handcuffed, wearing a yellow inmate jumpsuit. He spoke only to identify himself to the judge and stared straight forward while his father, Andrew Anthony, testified about how his son is the oldest of 4 siblings, a straight-A student, active in his church, and worked 2 jobs while serving as captain of the football and track team. To this point, he's not had any criminal history. All factors his defense brought up when asking the judge to lower the bond. The amount they were asking for was $150,000. The prosecution, though, argued the bond should have stayed at $1 million, even asking Andrew Anthony about the online fundraiser that's raised $412,000 for his son's defense. Ultimately, though, the judge said the purpose of bond is not a punishment, but to ensure the defendant returns for his court dates and to protect the community. If Anthony does post the $250,000 bond, he will be on house arrest, confined to his home with a leg monitor, and cannot leave unless the court grants permission. Asked by Judge Angela Tucker if he understood the terms of the bond, Carmelo Anthony simply said yes. Austin Metcalf's family, the victim's family, was in the courtroom. It was a packed courtroom, not a seat to be had, and the judge did acknowledge the amount of scrutiny on this case, not only from the media, but the general public, pointing out that she's presided over many murder trials involving many different races, and that she has never seen the amount of security precautions having to be taken by deputies as what they're seeing in this case.
Well, there you guys have it. Yes, the bond has been reduced, and I'll be talking about that with you. But before I do see we have donations come in. So first we have $5 from Bucks Nasty. Very good to see you, Bucks Nasty. And you wrote a $5 for the Atomic Blonde. Thank you so much, Bucks. And we have $20 from Nelson65. You wrote to make up for when you were sick and for Leo. Oh, wait, hold on.
Monster kill.
Just got paid so I can afford this week. Just don't get too used to it. I will, Nelson65. I'm thankful every time you guys donate. So thank you so much. And Nelson, to answer your question, you ask how far for the Leo goal. Well, before you donated that, we were at $12, and so that left us quite a bit left for Leo. But because of your $20, we are down. I think we need $38 more to bring out the And for those that don't know what I mean when I say that, I mean that if we if we get in $70 in donos, that means I bring out my dog Leo on the show. Like, it doesn't come out every time, but if we get $70 total in donations, I will be bringing Leo in. But we need 30 more dollars. Sorry, $33 more to get him in. So that's where we're at right now at the Leo goal. But anyways, to proceed with the story here. So, here is a tweet. It was released yesterday about Carmelo Anthony. Also, welcome to the stream, Row House. Thank you so much for joining. Sorry I was gone last week. I was sick. It's good to see you. You, Row, his family is shameful. Very true. I agree. Okay. So this person, Minister Dominique Alexander, again, I don't know too much about him, but he has a lot of strange ties to BLM and other activist organizations. We'll be talking about him later. But this is what he wrote. This was yesterday evening. Carmelo Anthony is safe at home. This moment is a reminder that a community united can never be divided. The journey ahead is long, but today we celebrate a victory for justice, for family, and for the power of people coming together to protect our youth. Thank you, everyone that stood with us. The fight continues, but tonight Carmelo is home. And then he put down the hashtags. Justice for Carmelo Anthony, and then NGAN, and then people power. Okay, first of all, who uses hashtags anymore? But justice for Carmelo Anthony, because he needs justice, apparently, and Austin doesn't. Here is a picture of Carmelo Anthony and this Dominique individual, and I just can't help but think that he has, I wrote a tweet about this, he has a very vacant expression, very emotionless expression, and it just tells me that this individual probably is either, I'm not here to give him justifications, but he doesn't seem all the way here, like he doesn't seem sane, and he's not going to learn anything from this. He's like, what, 17, I think? If not, he was a little older than Austin, but he's not going to learn anything from this because he has hordes of people saying that what he did was right. Here's an article detailing the story. A teen accused, he admitted that he stabbed Austin. He literally said, quote, I did it. Anyway. Teen accused of fatally stabbing Texas track athlete released after posting a $250,000 bond. Carmelo Anthony, 17, was released from jail on a reduced bond on April 14th, yesterday, according to court records, by Mike Howard, Anthony's newly hired defense attorney. The teen's bond was originally set for $1 million, like we had listened to on the video. Formal counsel for the teen confirmed on USA Today last week. Lawyers filed to have it reduced to $150,000, but it was ultimately reduced to $250,000. The teen has been issued an electronic monitor and will remain in house arrest, so he's in the comfort of his own home, only leaving with court approval. He needs the death penalty. I'm sorry. I know it's a very anti-libertarian stance. I am one of those few that does think the death penalty needs to exist. I'm sorry. I know I'm going to piss a lot of people off by saying this, but when you have a case like this where it's so unabashedly true, like it's so, I mean, we all know he did it. He outright said he did it. There's eyewitnesses everywhere, but beyond a reasonable doubt he did it. The death penalty is applicable. I know he's young. He's a young man. Okay. So I don't know, maybe you can make, the only reason why I would understand why I'm willing to debate someone on this is because he's a little young, and so therefore we could, debate about age. He's not exactly, an adult yet, perhaps. But he also doesn't seem like the most stable genius, if you ask me. In a statement on USA Today on April 15th, Howard said that Anthony is now back home with his family. So not only is he in the comfort of his home, his life is basically back to what it was. Yes, he's front page news. He has to wear an ankle monitor, but he's really feeling no repercussions from this. As far as his personal autonomy is concerned, he's not in solitary confinement. He is in the comfort of his home. His life's basically going back to what it once was. And as a young man, this is not how he learns what he did was wrong. And if we're not going to apply the death penalty, he must at least understand and see the ramifications of his actions. And he's seeing none of it. Okay, let's continue. Carmelo and the entire family look forward to some quiet time together, his lawyer wrote. I bet they do. They ask for space and time for the full investigation by both sides to play out fairly. Right. Anthony was charged with murder in April, in the April 2nd stabbing. We all know that story. Okay, the police and prosecution want to get it right. Since the killing on April 2nd, Anthony's family has created a fundraiser through the platform Give, Send, Go, which we have covered on this stream before. They have raised over $431,000 of its $500,000 goal. The narratives being spread is false, unjust, and harmful, his family wrote. As a family of faith, we are deeply grateful for all your support during this trying period. I want to show you guys something first before we proceed forward here, and I hope to God I have it saved. Hold on a second. Where is it? Tell me I have it saved. Tell me I have it saved. Where is it? There was a tweet I want to show you guys. Oh my God, tell me I saved it. Where is that tweet? There was someone that commented on the, I should have had this pulled up earlier. Where is it? I'm still scrolling. Here it is. Okay, I found it. I want to show you guys this. So consider what I just read. Okay, look at this. This is an actual comment on the Carmelo Anthony fundraiser, okay? From Barbara. When I was Carmelo's age, I would have had to get up and not say a word. God bless this young man. Yeah. God, yeah. Okay, you guys, so that's the level of non-hate that we're dealing with, to the point where we have people just outright coming out and saying, back in the day they just had to sit back down and shut up or get up and walk away, But now they feel emboldened apparently to stab a young man in the chest. So that's the that's, again, I'm going to reread this article. That's the, quote, narrative is being spread as false, unjust, and harmful. As a family of faith, we are deeply grateful for your support. And underneath that GoFundMe, people were saying stuff like that. Okay? It's one thing to shit talk Austin Metcalf, but it's another thing. That comment just sent chills down my spine. These people, whoever it is supporting Carmelo Anthony, are going out of their way to essentially frame him as like Rosa Parks. As someone wrote in the comments. Exactly. They're treating him like Rosa Parks, like an icon we should look up to. A thug. And that's all he is. And that's all he'll ever be known as, is a thug. Okay, let's continue on. The Next Generation Action Network, a civil rights organization in northern Texas, has spoken out in support of Anthony of the Anthony family and said on April 8th that there have been escalating racist threats and bigotry directed at Anthony family. I wonder why. Ever since the George Floyd protests, I wonder if people that support these causes feel rather emboldened to do things like this. Their personal address has been exposed. Minister Dominique Alexander, president of the Civil Rights Organization, said during a news conference last week, "This justice must be fair and impartial and protect them from biases. We do not pull the race card, we live it." I really hope this guy's like really sinks in for you guys and you can understand like the level of delusion that we're living in right now in our country right now. Howard said the threats aren't good. Again, a young man got up and stabbed another young man in the chest and admitted that he did it. That's the details of the case, okay? For those that are unaware of what exactly the case is, I'll say it again. It's very simple, actually. A young white man, 17 years old, approached a young black man who happened to be sitting in the wrong section of the track meet. And the young white man said, "Hey, buddy, you're in the wrong section, get up." Carmelo, the young black man, said, "Talk to me again, I'll hurt you." Anthony probably talked to him again. Not probably, he talked to him again. And the young black man got up and viciously stabbed him in the chest and then proceeded to tell the cops he did it. That's the details of the case. We're not missing any particular, there's no other smoking gun details that make Austin be the villain here. This is literally a black and white scenario, and we're treating this like it's, ethically ambiguous and vague, and it's so hard, the racial injustice is so difficult to parse through. We have to keep it impartial. Okay. Let's read a little bit further, and then we'll go on to the next article. But Howard said the threats aren't good for either family involved, obviously, so he asked the public to allow the temperature on his to calm down. The judge who released Anthony on bond took into consideration his age, his clean record, and whether he was a flight risk. Okay. Sure, very clean. Yes, very clean record indeed, I'm sure. Anthony's father testified at his bond hearing on April 14th, adding that his son has never been in trouble and he does not have a passport. His father said friends and family would make sure Anthony stayed on the right path. We got to take their word. His parents said that he's a good boy. That means he's a good boy. Yeah, okay. So this is the judge that lowered Carmelo Anthony's bond from $1 million to $250,000. I just want to see if you guys notice anything. Okay. So, like, I'm not gonna, I don't want to, like, pull a race card here. But, if the guy was white, if the races were reversed, how do you think this woman would react? Would she be impartial? Is it really like, do you guys think it's just like a get back after? Because I will, no doubt, I'm sure that, cases in the past were racially unjust against black people. Absolutely. I'm not gonna, sit here and we had a completely clean, legally accurate legal system here in the United States. But does fighting fire with fire actually help? I'm not going to make any assumptions here. I'm just saying that if the races were reversed, I just want you guys to ask yourself this and honestly answer, do you think she would judge in the same way? Just a question. I'm just asking questions. Okay, so here's a little bit about the judge. I do see, however, a donation. We have, let's see here, $10 from Row House. $10 from Row House. Thank you so much, Row House. Welcome to the Culturama stream again. Good to see you. You wrote, "Here is Matt Walsh's take on Carmelo's situation in response to another tweet," and then you send in a link. Beautiful, Row House. Let's watch this here after the... Yep. I have it pulled up on the other screen, Row House. We will watch that after I read this article together, okay? Carmelo Anthony judge Angela Tucker goes to ground as she's blasted for letting the teen killer out of jail. A Texas judge who reduced the bond of a teen who killed another boy at a track meet was forced to go private on social media. I wonder why. After being widely criticized for her ruling. Collin County District Judge Angela Tucker set her X account to private after she reduced Carmelo's bond to $1 million to $250,000 on Monday. Tucker, who was elected as a Republican, by the way, you guys. So, don't be too judgmental here. She's a Republican. That means, that means she's good, right? According to the Daily Mail, that seems to be the case, has been receiving racist attacks after reducing Anthony's bond, with several social media accounts sharing her image and information as they slammed the bond reduction. At the same time, the judge has been receiving support from Anthony's supporters who have donated more than $400,000 for his defense. During Monday's hearing, Judge Tucker said they've never had the security issues they faced with this case. I wonder why. I mean, it's a huge case, after all. Meanwhile, Anthony's father, Andrew, said Monday they plan on using some of the donated funds to relocate homes after facing racist threats since the killing. The revelation comes after a spokesperson for the family said they can't leave after their address was leaked online, leading to, quote, graphic and racist threats, which included images of black children with knives stuck out of their heads. Okay, so no doubt, I'm sure there are people out there that do vile things like that, and that is obviously wrong. And I condemn those sort of behaviors. But attention does need to be drawn to the fact that with such a cut and dry case like this one, why the judge had decided to reduce the bond. And we're dragging this out because we do need some justice set in place, and it doesn't seem like that we're on the track towards that. It doesn't seem like Carmelo Anthony is actually getting or facing justice. It doesn't look like Austin Metcalf is receiving justice. And it appears to be that because of the judge's demographic, it seems like that's what people are asserting, she chose to go a little softer on Carmelo. And I don't want to assume anything, of course, and I, very well could be wrong here. We don't know her intentions, but I just once again want to ask you guys just plainly and calmly, and have you ask yourself this and really feel, sit with it and honestly answer, do you think she would have ruled in the same way if the races were reversed? Considering the narratives that we have been facing, ever since the initial 2013, 2012 or so BLM protests up until now, especially since the George Floyd protests up until now, do you think that we are really open for this discussion and that the discourse is open to be honest with ourselves and say that perhaps this is a form of retaliation for sins in the distant past? And we are twisting justice or defacing justice on the graves of young men, young white men, and some young white women that are also affected. And just, we're completely ignoring it, and we're using this not as a form of justice, but as retribution. Okay. I also, Rowhouse, want to get to your video here, so let me pull it up. Okay. Let's see, I had more, but I'm gonna do your link here. Oh, I pinned it. I'm so retarded sometimes. There we go. I pinned it again. It's okay. I got it. Okay, Rowhouse, this is what you donated. Let's take a look. Matt Walsh said, there is no hope of improving race relations in this country as long as black murder can be rewarded with $500,000 and a new home for stabbing a white kid to death. He basically is encapsulating what I'm saying. So, yeah, beautifully said, Matt Walsh. Let's watch this video. This is a quote tweet of Colin Rugg. Carmelo Anthony's family is using over $400,000 raised on Give Send Go to move into a new home. Oh my God. They're getting a new house. Holy Holy. These people will stop at nothing. Look at that. Okay.
We're up, we're up, we're up, we're up.
Carmelo, why were you armed at school? Explain your self-defense. How is this self-defense?
Yeah, he's not going to answer. Something tells me that he doesn't care. His family doesn't care. There we go. Back home he goes. And Row House, you also, yeah, I agree with Matt Walsh here. Like, absolutely true. That's basically what I'm trying to say. I'm desperately trying to say. Matt Walsh, of course, a master of his craft. He's going to say it in a more expedient manner. Also, Row House, you donated. You donated another $5. Thank you so much. That also brings us closer to, I believe, about $15, $16 to the Leo goal. But, you know, Row House is a cool dude, wrote Liberty Tonight Show. I agree. Row House is great. Row House, you sent in another clip. You said, play this second. But in this short clip, Alan Dershowitz says the quiet part out loud. Okay. Here, let me pin that right for now. And I will play the clip here. Okay, unpin it. Okay, Alan Dershowitz says the quiet part out loud regarding Carmelo Anthony case. Quote, if the racial factors were reversed, if a white man had killed an unarmed black man, everyone would be on the reverse side of this. Yeah, that's what I've been saying. Let's listen.
The jury is. This will all be determined by the jury. If the racial factors were reversed, if a white man had killed an unarmed black man, everybody would be on the reverse side of this. We live in a society where everything is judged by race. You know, the Bible says to judges and prosecutors, don't recognize people, just do abstract justice. We're way, way, way beyond that. If the racial elements were reversed there, virtually all the people who are calling for him to be acquitted would be calling for him to be convicted, and vice versa. Let's not kid ourselves. We live in a race-conscious society, and jury selection, which, of course, your other guest is so brilliant at and did so well in the Zimmerman case, is determine the outcome of this case, without a doubt. This is all about who the jury is.
It's unfortunate, Row House, and for the person that tweeted this, Thomas Solo quotes, it's unfortunate that we have to frame this as saying the quiet part out loud. I mean, I just said it on this show, but it's true. And this is what I don't like about, I don't know if it's just like American culture or American people in general, but like, we have to, it's very dishonest to assume. There's a certain level of dishonesty and superficiality where we just can't say what's true. And maybe I'm just a very blunt person, but like, I can't help but say what's obvious. And the obvious fact is that, you know, we are just kowtowing to the racial minority for a long time now, and up to our expense. And not just up to our expense, you know, as far as, you know, the way we, like how we organize ourselves in our communities, our public schools and whatnot, how we interact with people, in the workplace. You know, that if anything, I see that as just making alterations and changes in our behavior so we could coexist with people of other ethnic and racial demographics, which is perfectly fine and advisable and whatnot. But it's coming to the point where we have to ignore the fact where it's like directly now affecting us legally. And somehow we're just supposed to turn a blind eye to this. The men's rights activists, regardless of what you think of them, we're trying to bring this attention very much so, especially with like child custody laws. It's saying like, hey, look, this legal system is like, if you guys look into it, it's obviously like set. The legal system is set almost always on default to favor the woman, especially in like child custody cases, every single time, right? And in a way, there is a certain twisting of the justice system that has to occur where it is unjust. And so we had that with the men's rights activists when they've been talking about this for years. But as far as racial, as far as like race relations goes, I would even dare say that this is perhaps even more pressing because actual lives are being taken away, and we are somehow, turning a blind eye for that, which makes me think like this has to be some form of retribution for these people. Because of the George Floyd incident, which was just, it's ridiculous we're still talking about it, but with the George Floyd incident, and you saw what people are posting with fake details about the case, saying that, somehow Austin Metcalf was on drugs as well, and that's why he died, which is not true at all. This, for them, is a form of retribution. And they want retribution. They don't want justice. They don't want equality. I'm just going to say it right here. I'm going to be completely honest. They don't want justice. They don't want equality. They don't want a healthy functioning society. They don't want positive race relations. They don't want white people to feel safe. They don't want anything like that. They want us white people, because I know a majority of people that watch me are white, but not everyone. But not just white people, but really anyone that goes against their leftist narrative. But they specifically don't want white people to feel safe. They don't want conservatives to feel safe. They want us to cower in fear. And they are actively going out of their way to have negative race relations. And it is so toxic and debilitating and dangerous for positive relationships amongst people and for a healthy functioning society. And we are supposed to somehow, it doesn't matter what race or creed you are, but if you have common sense and you look at this case and you see that Carmela was obviously in the wrong here, and you say that out loud, that goes against their very narrative. And not only are you for injustice, but you probably deserve to die in their eyes. And that's very concerning to me. Okay, what else do we have here? I was reading this about the judge. This is what I wrote about. I said something tells me he's not learning anything from this and he'll do it again. Maybe it's the emotionless vacant stare. Maybe it's an entire community of people telling him he's blameless. Yeah. I really don't think Carmel's going to learn anything from this. I don't think his parents and his family are going to learn anything from this. They bought a new house with the funds. And so for them to say that they're going to keep on the right track means little to nothing. So this Minister Dominique Alexander is a president of NGAN, by the way, very strange connections, a leftist nonprofit NGO that moves money to get BLM riders out of bail. Okay? Be alert. High likelihood they begun to push protests and encourage political violence to intimidate public and the jury. Angela Davis 2.0. So this NGAN dude, really weird, strange ties with the BLM, and yeah, they go out of their way to get these people out on bail every single time. And then we have the 57 to Leo, writes Entropy Nomad. We're very close, you guys. We have $5 from Bruiser55. Bruiser, you wrote, hate is a virtue for leftists. Exactly, Bruiser55. These people want nothing to do but to ruin your life, make you feel unsafe, and have you feeling brewed with hate just like them. And they want inequality. They say that they want equality, they want peace, they want positive race relations. They're absolutely lying. They want inequality. Very much so. Okay. Here's a statistic. And this is what Matt Walsh was saying, and I brought this up last time. 1 out of every 22 black men in America will commit murder in their lifetime. By many metrics, it's closer to 1 in 20. Truly astounding statistic. Okay? What is going on with young black men in America? Well, what is going on? What is happening? What absolute fatherless behaviors is brewing in America to have this happen? And why are we ignoring it? No, we are not Entropy Nomad. The goal is 70. I believe Entropy Nomad is saying that we have reached $57. So we need $13 more to unleash the beast.
Monster kill.
We need $13 more to unleash the beast. No, we have raised $57, Row House, and we need $13 more to unleash the beast. Oh, what happened? I lost my tweet here. There we go. $12 away. 13, 12, whatever. Yeah, $12. We will get there. Yes, we will, Row House. Surprisingly, you guys really love Leo still. I still have to make the Leo cam in the corner. I will. Oh my God. The weather is getting better. I'm gonna venture out in town this week, and I'm going to get potting soil, and I'm going to get new gardening supplies, and I'm going to get a little chicken wire fence as well, so I could have the Leo corner. You guys are going to love it. It's going to be beautiful. Okay. 4.5%. That's the number of black males in America who will commit murder in their lifetime. That's approximately 1 in every 22 black men versus 1 in every 425 white men. What is happening with the black youth in America, you guys? This is why I don't think Carmelo Anthony will change, because we're not having this necessary conversation that directly contributed to Austin's death. And we've reached. You guys did it. You helped me reach the donation goal. We have unleashed the beast.
Monster kill.
Okay, let me read off the. We have $10. Whoa. Okay, more donations. We have first $10 from Nelson65. You wrote, okay, someone donate 2 more. Okay, wonderful.
Monster kill.
And we have Entropy Nomad number 2 for $2.
Monster kill.
Exactly. And we have $2 from Row House.
Monster
Daniela,
kill.
will you be going longer tonight or cut off at the 2-hour mark? Row House, I can stay longer tonight. We have a whole nother segment that's actually perfect timing to bring Leo out because it is about dogs. This next segment is about pit bulls, you guys. Okay, we're going to be talking about that with Leo now since he's coming out. And we have $1 from Entropy Nomad writing for Leo, guys. Okay. Well, now that we've reached the Leo goal, I'm going to head out. I'll be right back, everyone. I'm going to be bringing out Leo, and in this next segment, we have been facing an increase of pit bull attacks, okay? I'm going to be talking about those stats with Leo here on my side, so you guys are going to enjoy it. Stay tuned. We're going to bring him out. Good job, you guys. We reached the amount, and yes, I can't. Pitbull nationalism, rights, no house. Exactly. We will be right back, everyone. Stay tuned.
Well, here comes Daniela like Marilyn with a twist. She's got a master's degree and a style you can't resist. On Culturama, baby, we're shaking up the scene. So hit that like, make it click, you know what we mean. Like and subscribe, come on, don't delay. With Daniela at the helm, we're leading the way. It's Culturama, taking back tomorrow today.
You have to force behaviors, and at BlackRock, we are forcing behaviors.
Mao ordered his citizens to throw off the 4 olds. Old thinking, old culture, old customs, and old habits. So, your whole life went in the garbage overnight, no biggie. And those who resisted were attacked by an army of purifiers called the Red Guard, who went around the country putting dunce caps on people. Yeah, who didn't take to being a new kind of mortal being.
If you don't force behaviors, whether it's gender or race or just any way you want to say the composition of your team, you're going to be impacted.
Well, things haven't been so sweet for Ben & Jerry's after the company posted an anti-American tweet, a few of them, on the 4th of July. The ice cream makers declared the United States was founded on stolen indigenous land.
Well, someone should tell Target that, because they're now selling swimsuits with tuckums in the women's section of the store. And they even have a line just for kids.
Yeah, we're going to reach out to Ben & Jerry's and ask them how they can live with themselves as they operate a multi-billion-dollar company on stolen land while declaring other people give up their so-called stolen land.
This is the child section. This is literally the kids section. I'm next to a literal onesie that says whatever the hell that means. We have glad you came out, and I'm so happy that you're queer. In the kids section. Are you kidding me? I'm sorry, but pride and toddler don't belong in the same sentence.
Good news! Starbucks will offer its workers reimbursement of travel expenses related to accessing abortion and gender-affirming procedures.
Kyle Rittenhouse was seen wearing a Black Rifle Coffee Company shirt, and they wanted to distance themselves from that individual. Key employees at the company also were donating to Democrats. Hafer doubled down on throwing many in his base under the bus, describing them as racist and a repugnant group of people.
Hey, Liberty lovers, stop scrolling, because if you're tired of the same old news, then I've got just the wake-up call for you. I want to thank you for tuning in to Culturama, and I know that you're enjoying every minute of it. Join us at rumble.com/AP4Liberty. The Wake Up America show is Mondays through Fridays, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. It's a great way to start your day. Coffee's optional, but waking up is mandatory. Remember, at Wake Up America, we'll keep you sharp, we'll keep you laughing, most of all, we'll keep you free. I'll see you in the morning.
Well, here comes Anita like Marilyn with a twist. She's got a master's degree and a style you can't resist. On Culturama, baby, we're shaking up the scene. So hit that like, make it click, you know what we mean. Like and subscribe, come on, don't delay. With Daniela at the helm, we're leading the way. It's Culturama, taking back tomorrow today.
You have to force behaviors, and at BlackRock, we are forcing behaviors.
Mao ordered his citizens to throw off the four olds. Old thinking, old culture, old customs, and old...
Who are dancing to the radio, spinning round in the glow, carry dreams on the wind to see our heroes begin. Which shout will they light the way, with courage shining bright today, holding hands through the fights and fears, together against the tide of years. Remember when the hearts stood tall.
We stand for our rights, we won't back down. We'll fire our hearts, we're taking the town. Against the shadows, we'll fight for our hands. Together we rise, united we stand. We'll the beat of the drums, we'll chant and shout across the street or say the hearts of the crowd. No room for whispers, for fear and regret. But I don't story, you ain't say nothing yet. Well, free and we cherish it, we'll make the stands. We're ready up to fight it. Time for our dance.
Having a blast when you dance on your paws like you're on a spree, chasing your tail. Oh, what joy you bring me, my tiny furry friend. You light up my day in your 1950 style. Let's dance and play.
Welcome, everyone.
Monster kill.
Okay, we played the song enough times. Leo, welcome to the stream. Yes, everyone, we are running out of outfits for him to wear in the stream, but he is wearing a bee outfit today. Funny story about Leo. Thank you, Nelson65. Nelson65 loves your outfit, Leo. Funny story. I don't know if you guys follow my Twitter, but if you do, you'd see that Leo had a little bit of an accident yesterday. He's fully recovered now. But I wonder if I still have it. Yes, I do. I was trimming his nails yesterday. I gave him a bath. He's a little bit whiter. But I was trimming his nails, and with dogs, you have to be wary when you're trimming their nails. And I cut back a little too far, and he just kept bleeding, the poor guy. But I don't think he felt anything because he just kept crying. I mean, he wouldn't cry at all. I just said he kept crying. He wasn't crying at all. And when Leo's in pain, he will make it obvious, and he didn't seem to shed a tear. Well, Leo. And so I had to make a cast for him yesterday. I don't know if you can see that, but there's the cast that's inside. So I had to make this makeshift cast for him, but he's fully recovered now. And yeah, I would have taken him to the groomer, but I didn't have time yesterday, so I just decided to trim them myself with a special dog clipper. But he was just so stubborn, and he wouldn't stop moving, so... But he's fine now, everyone. The beast has awakened. Here he is. And he's going to read some Pitbull statistics with us here today, Leo. So, but thank you all for your thoughts and prayers. For those that did see on Twitter, I posted about it. Everyone said nice stuff about him. So, but the beast is going to be with us for the remainder of this stream per the rules and regulations of the Leo the Beast meter. So we can continue. Anyways, you guys, we have, I know we're going to go on a little bit longer in this stream. I know we usually go 2 hours, but this has been a wonderful comeback stream since I recovered, and we have been covering so many topics. I really did want to get on this topic because I also find it personally valuable as well. And I think you guys are going to find a lot of interest in this topic because this has to do with the pit bull epidemic. Let's take a listen. This is happening in my hometown. Well, not exactly my hometown, but in my neck of the woods in Seattle, of all places. First,
Pet, as an off-leash pit bull launches a vicious attack.
And documents obtained by Fox 13 reveal the pit bull's owner did nothing to stop the attack and even appeared to encourage it. Fox 13's AJ Janavel spoke with investigators and neighbors about the incident.
This is where at least one of those attacks happened. And according to a Seattle police report, the owner of that pit bull was heard saying, "Let him do his thing," while her dog was attacking other people's pets. And that owner is accused of trying to stop other people from intervening. A video posted to Reddit shows the traumatic scene unfolding in broad daylight. Car horns blaring and the dog whimpering as a terrified owner fights to save their beloved dog. According to a police report I obtained, the pit bull terrorized Dexter Avenue throughout Friday by attacking several other pets. When police arrived, they said the owner of the aggressive dog was 30-year-old Sydney Kelly. Documents state Kelly told police she did not have the pit bull on a leash because, quote, "It's not a dog, it's the chupacabra."
What? Because that's literally right here. That would be probably 10 feet away from us.
Alyssa Mayenza, lives right near where the attack happened.
Anyway, this is happening in Seattle. This doesn't happen too often in Seattle, but we are seeing more pit bull attacks happen, everyone. And it's very unfortunate. At least this account says that they are pit bulls. This toy poodle, unfortunately, was eaten. And this happened 2 days ago. This video was posted 1 day ago, the one in Seattle. This one in Santa Monica, a toy poodle was eaten by but here's the thing. They don't say the breed of the dog, okay? Guess the breed of the dog. They don't say the
news
breed
tonight,
of the dog.
a 4-pound toy poodle was attacked and killed by a large dog last night in Santa Monica.
What
Witnesses
dog,
say
you
the
may
man
ask?
walking that dog took off after the attack, leaving the poodle just to die. And now the poodle's
That's so
owners
sad.
are asking for your help in bringing that other dog owner to justice.
Yeah, they don't even mention the dog. At least this video had the honor to say what kind of a dog breed it was. But the reason why I bring this all up is because of this story. And we have been seeing a lot of these stories in the past, almost to the point where it has become a meme. And not almost, it has become a meme. And yet again, you know, I saw the picture of the baby, and I saw Pitbull next to it, and on Twitter, and I just said to myself, "Oh no, here we go again, another Pitbull attack. Ohio baby killed by family Pitbull, as grieving mother laments. I will never understand why." She will never understand why. Never, ever, ever. Not even enough to get the breed of the dog, to understand perhaps or educate herself on the history of the dog. Also, Quest Fanning, I saw that you're leaving. I believe it was Quest Fanning, right? Yes. Thank you so much for joining, Quest Fanning. Very good to see you on the stream. I'll see you next time. Hopefully I'll see you on Thursday. Peace. Leo, relax, relax. Okay, so let's read the story together, you guys. An Ohio infant was killed by one of her family's 3 pit bulls. They own 3 pit bulls. Her parents said on social media. I will never understand why, said Mackenzie Copley. Yeah, she's coping hard, I bet. She wrote on a Facebook post, posting pictures of her 7-month-old daughter cuddling with the family dogs. I am so lost and broken. This was the same dog who was by my baby every single day, she wrote. I wonder if she believed it was actually a nanny dog. The father, Cameron Turner, also took to social media to express his grief. Leo is scared of the pit bulls, writes Nelson65. This is why I can't stand pit bulls, because, like, I have this thing, and this thing's going to get eaten up immediately by a pit bull. And I love this little guy. Anyways. Because they will. They will eat my dog. They will eat babies. They will eat toddlers. There was a story that came out a few years ago of a toddler getting mauled by a pit bull. I mean, we hear this every other couple years. It seems like as though every other year there is some story now of a pit bull attack. I believe it was over a year ago or 2 years ago, there was a toddler that was all over the news that got attacked by one. I don't think he was killed, but he was attacked. The father, Cameron Turner, also took to social media to express his grief. Life is not fair, Turner wrote. How can I continue living without her? The baby, Elizabeth Turner, was described as never without a smile. Elizabeth's face would light up the room and her laugh was contagious. Her obituary reads. This is very sad. The exact circumstances of the fatal incident were unclear. The exact circumstances. Maybe it's because pit bulls do that. Yes, Nelson65. They don't exactly eat them. I'm just using that as I'm being hyperbolic. But they are trained to kill, yes. Especially smaller living creatures. And they're also fighting dogs, so they will fight each other as well. The exact circumstances of the incident were unclear. Eliza Turner was bitten by one of the family dogs, according to the police, who noted the situation escalated quickly. No other details were made public. It's unclear which of the family's 3 dogs bit the child. Franklin County Animal Control took the 3 dogs after the tragedy and will decide what happens to them after investigation. Columbus police called it a tragic accident. There is really not a lot of words I can say that convey how I feel. The Columbus police said, Sergeant, everyone in this process is literally grieving as a child belongs to us because most of us are parents and can't imagine how this scene is. So I wonder if any of these people that are involved in this investigation are willing to answer the basic question, in that the reason why this happened is because a pit bull was present. Now, memes aside, obviously pit bulls aren't instinctively driven just to kill toddlers and babies, but what does need to be reiterated, Leo, relax. He's so itchy, you guys. He may not stay for very long because he's so itchy. Look at him. Look at him. But relax, Leo. Let me take this off of you. There. But perhaps we should be honest with ourselves and ask, what exactly is a breed-specific history? Because it seems as though we are allowed to mention breed-specific history about any other dog. Border Collies, Labradors, German Shepherds, that all of these dogs, even Dachshunds, all of these dogs were bred for a specific purpose and function. And when you look at the pit bull breed-specific history, they were only bred for one thing. They were bred to be fighting dogs, and they were bred to basically essentially kill other animals. They were used for, I believe it's called ratting, where they catch, as many rats as they can. They were bred to kill bulls and other big game animals, and as well as themselves. So these dogs are inherently violent, but some reason it seems as far as a pit bull is concerned, we're not allowed to mention their breed-specific history. This is a topic I talk about quite frequently, and I'm going to be throwing statistics. Query, what was Leo bred to do? Good question, Fiery Waco. Leo was bred to give me lots of kisses and hugs. I'm not partially kidding. Toy dogs, lap dogs, they were bred to basically just be companion dogs. They were also bred for aesthetic purposes as well, which brings into question really the main function of why Chihuahuas or small dogs actually exist. But all throughout human history, it obviously seems to be the case, with a few exceptions, of course. Like I said, Dachshunds, they were bred to actually, I believe, go into the burrows of rabbits and other small game. That's why they have those elongated bodies. Or like small rat terriers, I believe, are also bred for ratting as well. But usually like small dogs like Shih Tzus, Chihuahuas, miniature poodles, like those were just companion dogs. Hoverspool wrote, Leo was bred to conquer. Yes, he was. I'm here autistically answering it technically, and Hoverspool is giving the right answer. Thank you, Hoverspool. But here's the thing, you guys, with pit bulls, okay? I am so sick and tired of ignoring the fact that these dogs aren't violent. And Whitey White is bringing up the stats already in the chat, which they only make up 13% of dogs, yet they perpetrate over 60% dog attacks. Whitey White, it's actually 70%. And I've seen some stats say it's over 70%. But you guys are going to be reading Whitey White's stat there in the chat, and you're going to think it's a joke. It's not a joke. It's not some meme. It's not like the 1350 meme. These are accurate statistics, okay? They make up, I think it's like around 10%. And they make up grand majority, over 50%, up to 70% of all dog-related fatalities in the United States. And let me tell you something. I owned Chihuahuas before. I've owned multiple Chihuahuas in my lifetime. The bite factor, if you look at the bite factor, how many bites a dog will do in the course of its lifetime, actually the grand majority of bites belongs to the Chihuahua. The Chihuahua is the most violent, technically, dog. The reason why we don't refer to those stats is because Chihuahuas can't kill you. They can't harm you, really. They can't injure you. They can't maim you, okay? Yes, Leo. But I know that Chihuahuas are inherently violent. They're inherently aggressive. And you cannot outbreed the aggressive nature of the Chihuahua. It is so ingrained in their nervous system and in their brains. And their genetic breed-specific history only allows for specific aggressive behaviors. I've said before in the stream, but it's for Chihuahuas specifically, it's about their neotenized features. A Chihuahua is a neotenized creature, which means they're bred to retain certain traits that make them look youthful and younger, hence the size and like their eye size. Their eyes are very large compared to other dogs in ratio to their body size, you know. So their heads are obviously larger. The apple head, Leo's an apple head, so like, you know, they have these neonized features to appear younger, but with that comes other what's the word I'm looking for? Consequences. And one of those consequences is that when you have a neonized creature, you get neonized behaviors. And that means that Chihuahuas are actually pretty aggressive because they're all very neurotic. And they're basically like teenagers effectively all their lives. So it's actually a debilitating process to breed a Chihuahua. Okay? And it's a debilitating process to breed really any dog these days. But I love Chihuahuas regardless. But the point I'm bringing this up is because it's not just the owner, you guys. I've owned Chihuahuas. You cannot out-train a Chihuahua to not be aggressive. Chihuahuas will be the most aggressive dogs out there, okay? But you know what a Chihuahua can't do? They can't kill you. Let's look at these stats. U.S. dog bite fatality. This is taken from dogsbite.org. This is a website that's just made to follow breed-specific legislation and bite statistics. The U.S. bite facilities in the 13-year period, fatalities in a 13-year period between 2005 to 2017, 65% were done by pit bulls. That is 284 deaths were done by pit bulls. Okay. Then, of course, we have Rottweilers, German Shepherds, and you go down the line, a Mastiff, Bull Mastiff at 3.2%, and then the Husky, the least amount. But regardless, I know that Rottweilers were the craze in the 90s where people were terrified of Rottweilers. Still, look at the immense decrease between 65% to only 10%. Look at that drop off. It is huge, you guys. Okay? In the 13-year period between January 1st, 2005 to December 31st, 2017, canines killed at least 433 Americans. Pit bulls contributed to 66% of these deaths. So, Whitey White, it's more than what you said, actually. It's closer to 70%. Here is another info sheet that I found detailing this, but here is sort of like a word graph to show you what are the most dangerous creatures, the most dangerous dogs, and obviously the size of the word references the amount of attacks those dogs have done. And all you got to do is look at the center of the chart right there, and as you can see, the pit bull takes a grand majority. Okay. What else we got here? We have American Bulldog, Bully, German Shepherd, not even that much. A Japanese Akita's on here. But yeah, nothing compares to the pit bull. So this is just stats by country, but I just wanted to show you there that. So what is the answer to this problem, you may ask yourself? Well, I personally have an opinion. Leo, you guys, I may have to release Leo. He's being kind of antsy right now. Everyone say goodbye to Leo. I'm gonna have to release him. Sorry about that. I have to release him so soon, you guys. But he is being so antsy right now. I don't think he's very happy with me. Okay? Leo, before I let you go, tell me your opinion on this matter. Do we need breed-specific legislation to address the pit bull question? Can you give us some ASMR, buddy? He's not feeling it. I have to let him go. Hold on. Say goodbye. Say goodbye, Leo. You got it. Good. Yeah, you got it. Good boy. Hobbling his way out of there. Okay. He's an old man. He needs his respect. Okay, anyways. So, so the answer to this is that, listen, I understand and I know that there's a lot of people out there that love their pit bulls. And I do understand. I do understand that it's very difficult to address this situation. And I'm not saying that, and this is my personal opinion. This is the Daniela plan. How old is he? Writes Nelson 65. Nelson, he is, I believe, 8 years old now. He's 8 years old. Hoverspool, your comment is really, oh man, hot take. Pit bulls are like a subconscious birth control for some women. I will not elaborate or explain. Hoverspool, I'm gonna have to hold you up to that comment and have you explain anyway, but maybe you will, maybe you won't. That's one hell of a comment, Hoverspool. Thank you for that. I'm not saying this is the Daniela plan, okay? I really don't think, obviously, we should not put any dogs down that already exist. But we absolutely do need to address the pit bull question. Now is the time. How many more infant deaths? How many more little dog deaths? How many more injuries are we supposed and defacements are we supposed to see before we understand that this is, where's the stat? I just lost it. That this right here isn't normal. This is not normal. And we really need to address this. So breed-specific legislation, some local jurisdictions, I know is very popular in Florida. Obviously in Florida, other places in the U.S. as well, where you cannot live or rent in certain areas if you own a pit bull. I think that is advisable. I think we need to start requiring at least licenses for people to even breed and own these animals. We need to really step up our game, because if we let this happen, more of these things are gonna, like this child here, this infant that got mauled to death, will occur. And, people like me who have to pay taxes to have a road outside my house here, I can't even walk down that road with my dog sometimes because the neighbors 2 down the block own pit bulls. And I will sure as hell can bet I will not be walking down this road if there's a pit bull around. If someone had 3 lions in their 1,200 square foot apartment, they would go to jail. Exactly, Hoverspool. So something certainly needs to be done. We need an emergence of breed-specific laws happening in the United States again. And a lot of people will come out and say that it's classist. Believe me, they will. There's people going to come out and say it's classist. It's anti-animal. It's anti-animal rights. Some may even say that because it's classist, it will lead into being racist. No. No, it's common sense. You don't want your owner owning a cougar. Likewise, I don't want my owner owning a pit bull. And if they are going to own a pit bull or a cougar or a chimpanzee, I mean, who knows? If they are going to do that, I want them to be a specialist that knows what the hell they're doing, okay? And yes, Evan Rowan, the owner should probably go to prison for manslaughter. Let's see if I could find a good video explaining the history of pit bull. History of pit bull. Let's see, breed. The dark history of pit bulls. Let's see if maybe this video will be good.
History of pit bulls.
What's this?
Did you know the name pitbull actually originates from the dog's dark and gloomy past? That's because pit bulls were once subject to one of the cruelest and most vicious blood sports in all of history. In today's episode, we'll be discussing the dark history.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. So pit bulls were specifically bred for blood sport. They were bred for, for the dog fights. Dog fights were really big back then. I believe it was in England, in the UK, but they were bred for that purpose because dog betting and blood sport betting was very popular at the time. And so I heard there's a debate about whether or not pit bull is actually a breed. It's not technically a specific breed. It's actually like a conglomeration of breeds that relate to like the terrier breed, I think it is, and the bulldog. So, you know, it's very difficult to define. And that's one of the common retorts that these people will give out that are like pro pit bull or own pit bulls. But it's also very difficult to assert that there is not some sort of breed that we can point to, because there are common traits that all of these dogs share. And so that do come back from like a genetic history line from the terrier breed and the bulldog. And a lot of pit bulls, they look similar. There are a series of traits you can point to and say that they share. But anyways, let's continue.
History of the pit bull and how they evolved from one of the most feared beasts in the canine kingdom to a loving and affectionate companion today.
Not
and
so
that all
loving and
starts right now
affectionate, I
on the
don't think.
Smart Canine, the only show that explores the most interesting stories and facts behind dogs. But before we dive in, we must dive into the history of all dogs. Prior to the modern domestication of our furry companions, all dogs served a very specific purpose in society. In other words, every dog had a very specific job that benefited humans in one way or another. For example, the Border Collie was bred to herd cattle and sheep. Golden Retrievers were developed to retrieve game from water.
Exactly.
And Beagles were tracking dogs that heavily relied on their noses.
So it's okay to talk about all of these breed-specific traits, you know, in all these dogs. Like he said, you know, Border Collies is for herding sheep. What was the Beagle is for, what did he say, scent tracking? Retrieve from game from the water. Okay. What is a pit bull bred
and
for?
Beagles were
is that not a breed specific
heavily
history we can
relied
refer
on
to?
their noses. The list of dog jobs doesn't end here. We had flushing dogs, hunting dogs, guard dogs, ratting dogs, and the list goes on. So what were pit bulls actually bred to do? Believe it or not, the original purpose of the pit bulls doesn't really fall into any of the mentioned categories. Instead, they were bred for, well, entertainment. But probably not the type of entertainment you're thinking of. Pit bulls were developed for a blood sport called bull baiting, and why this may have been viewed as entertaining fun in the past, it's simply seen as disturbing and heinous today. Bull baiting was the practice of pitting a vicious bull against other animals, such as the equally fierce and fearless pit bull or bulldog.
So that's what I was thinking of. I was saying how they were bred to attack bulls and kill bulls. That's what I was thinking of, bull baiting. That ratting, they were also bred for, to be fair, that video doesn't acknowledge. But it was a type of ratting where they don't just catch rats. Actually, what pit bulls are specifically bred to do was a certain type of blood sport related to ratting, where people would put in as many rats and mice as possible in one small, like, little cove, I suppose you could say. And then they would release the pit bull and they would bet on how many mice and rats that dog could kill in a given moment of time, in a certain duration of time. And so this was another type of blood sport. And bull baiting is another one. They would pit them against a bull, and so hence the name.
During the whole baiting process, people would blow pepper.
They would also have pit bull fight against other pit bull, which people still do, by the way. It's just the dog doing what it was bred to do. And so blood sports, like I said, were very common and popular back then. Very disgusting. You know, I am a strong advocate for animal rights as well, actually, to a certain degree. So I think it's, you know, heinous behavior, but that was what the dog was bred to do, and that's what they're known for, and that's what they genetically remember.
Into the bull's nose to further arouse the massive animal, and to even the playing field, bulls were chained and stalked to the ground at the center of the pit, thus reducing their mobility around the arena. Specially trained pit bull type dogs were released into the pit, several at a time, to try and pin the bull down. But what kind of damage could these 50-pound dogs actually do against
here comes
a
a real stats.
2,000-pound beast?
What are they
Well, the
capable
overall
of doing?
strategy of the pit bull was both clever and effective. Their only shot was to try and sneak up on the bull. If successful, they would quickly bite onto the bull's body and hold on for dear life. Of course, the bull wasn't too happy about this, so they're aggressively swinging back and forth to throw the dogs off. The pit bull's strategy was to outlast the bull in a battle of endurance and not so much a battle of strength. If they keep attacking with success, they knew they would eventually tire the bull out and pin him down. The match would end when either the dogs pinned the bull down or when there were no more dogs left that were capable of baiting the bull anymore. It's not a pleasant sight and something that I would never want to see in my life, though.
So that's a little bit of the breed-specific history for those, like an explanation for those that are curious. I don't know how much into detail this video goes. I just looked up one video. What's this?
The American Pitbull Terrier, or APBT, is a breed of dog that has a long and storied history. The breed originated in the United Kingdom in the 19th century, where it was used in blood sports such as bull baiting and ratting. As these sports were outlawed, the APBT was brought to America, where it was used in dogfighting rings. However, the breed also became popular as a family pet and working dog, and was even used by the military in World War I and II. Today, the APBT is known for its loyalty, intelligence, and athleticism, and is a beloved companion for many families. The American Pitbull Terrier may have a controversial past, but it has become a cherished member of countless families around the world.
Yeah, it's a beloved pet, of course. It's a dog. We're going to have positive associations with dogs, but to proceed forward and to be safe and to have not only safe families and homes, but safe communities and shared safety and trust with your neighbors, we do need to be realistic about the history of the breed. And this is also why I think a lot of people are uncomfortable and why to talk about that and why videos like this exist where, clearly a toy poodle was, killed and we all know what breed it was, but we don't want to say what breed it was. Or how this infant was mauled to death, and in the article, even a New York Post article, they write it in a way where they're uncomfortable about addressing the breed-specific history. The reason why we tiptoe around these eggshells is one thing, and that is the reference of genetics. And genetics makes people extremely uncomfortable when it's referred to in the negative. It's perfectly fine to talk about the positive genetic history and breed-specific history of other dogs like border collies and golden retrievers and whatnot, even chihuahuas. But when we have to refer to the breed-specific history in the negative and say that something is inherently violent, that's a step too far. And referring to genetics, I think, is the first step, hopefully, in having safer communities. And if we want safer communities with kids in it and smaller dogs in it and other living creatures, maybe we should be honest about the breed, its history, its genetics, and what we can do to avoid attacks like this happening in the future, like this one. Okay, you guys, I have one more story I want to talk about, and it is about the Harvard situation with Donald Trump. I'll briefly cover it, but we are approaching, I believe, 2.5 hours of the stream. If you still have the wherewithal to stay with me for the next story, please do. I will return really quickly here. I'm going to go on a quick bathroom break, and but don't go too far. I know you guys saw Leo and left, but we have a lot more to cover. Well, actually, one more story, I think, and it is an important one, and I did want to cover it. So everyone, please stay tuned. I will return really quickly here, and we will have a grand old talk about Harvard University. Stay tuned.
Times are changing, feel the buzzing. Staying true when they're fussing. Keep the flag a-flying through stormy nights. With the star-spangled banner, I stand tall with manners. Cross my heart with hope in sight. Here comes freedom in the land of hope and prairie with liberty. Stick to values in the trends. Families gather, let's defend. Hold the line, keep the bond alive. Truth in our vision. In God we make decisions for our dream. True, thrive and strive. Here comes freedom in the land of hope and prairie. fighting for what's right, standing strong in the night. Here comes freedom in the land of hope and bravery, with liberty. In the heart they gather strong, pushing back the lefty's throng. With the red banner held high, marching forward through the night. Promises of old will keep as the donkeys start to weep. Stars and stripes forever sway. In the land of the brave we stay. We've got the power now in the heart of every town. We've got the power now. The Reds are going down.
With a flagpole planted firm.
Golden dreams that won't decay.
All right, everyone, we are back. I have one more story to read off to you guys. It is a very important one, and we do need to talk about it. It's about Harvard University. But before we do that, I want to thank everyone that has joined Culturama. I am so appreciative of you guys and watching for this long. And I am supposed to do a Rumble ad, and I know I tried it a while ago, and I failed. So I'm gonna try right now. Are you guys ready? You want to watch me try Rumble Rad? Let's do it. Okay. So I'm looking at the campaigns right now. It says 1770. Here's one first one. 1775 coffee, and then there's a script. I'm just gonna launch it and see what works. Okay. Can I accept and start? Okay. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to read this now. Weak coffee is for the weak, and at Rumble, weak has never been part of the mission. No fillers, no fraud, and no settling for mediocrity, just like 1775 coffee. It's single origin, small farm, hand-picked, specialty-grade coffee that stands for quality, free speech, and calling out BS when it matters. Forget stale, mass-produced beans. Roasted just enough, hide the flaws. Dark roast hits like a Trump tariff. Medium roast keeps so bold without the bitterness, and Vitality Mushroom Blend, yummy. Real energy and lasting focus, no synthetic garbage. For K-Cup pods, whole bean, or fresh ground coffee, go to 1775coffee.com. Use code STUDIO in all caps for 15% off. And start your morning with coffee that stands for something. Oh, and every dollar spent enters you to win a Cybertruck and $30,000 in cash. Okay. Everyone, I made my $1.09. Let's go. Where 1775 coffee. I went against my better judgment in promoting a different coffee brand, but I was tasked with reading an ad here live, so I did it. How'd I do, you guys? Okay, let's read this last story here. Oh. Okay, Harvard University says, quote, no government, regardless of which party is in power, should dictate what private universities can teach, whom they can admit and hire, and which areas of study and inquiry they can pursue, said President Alan Garber of Harvard Education. Thank you, Nelson65. I really do appreciate that. Okay, Harvard University, here's their statement, the promise of American higher education. This is from Harvard. Dear members of the Harvard community, should I read all this? For 3/4 of a century, the federal government has awarded grants and contracts to Harvard and other universities to help pay for work that, along with investments by the universities themselves, have led to groundbreaking innovations, blah, blah, blah. Not lately. These innovations have come have made countless people in our country and throughout the world healthier and safer. In recent weeks, however, the federal government has threatened its partnership with several universities, including Harvard, over accusations of anti-Semitism on our campuses. These partnerships are among the most productive and beneficial in American history. Really? Is that true? What, guys, I'm going to ask you a question. In the last 10 years, 20 years, maybe even 30 years, what great has come out of Harvard? Like what research, what discovery, what was really great that came out of Harvard? They're saying, okay, there's life-changing advancements for the treatments of Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. Yeah, quantum fit science, artificial intelligence, sure. But the grand majority of the outcomes that come from these, and it's not just Harvard, it's any Ivy League schools, are not taken seriously at all anymore. Because they're bringing in people, let's be honest, that don't really belong there. And they're throwing out diluted curriculum that has little to no bearing on the present state of our society. Unless, of course, you want to engage in self-referential, self-hatred, critical theory. Barack Obama's backing them. He said Harvard has set an example for other higher ed institutions, rejecting an unlawful and ham-handed attempt to stifle academic freedom while taking concrete steps to make sure all students can benefit from an environment of intellectual inquiry, rigorous debate, and mutual respect. Let's hope other institutions follow suit. Well, if Barack Obama backs it, you know it's good. Okay, let's read this article. It gives us a rundown from the BBC. Trump threatens Harvard's tax-exempt status after freezing $2 billion in funding. Okay, President Donald Trump has called Harvard University to lose a valuable tax break hours after his administration announced it's freezing for more than $2 billion in federal funds for the elite institution. This is $2 billion in US dollars. The White House has demanded the oldest university in the U.S. to make changes to its hiring, its admissions, and teaching practices, which it says will help fight anti-Semitism on campus. Okay, so like the whole anti-Semitism thing, I'm neither here nor there on it. I don't think it's as big of a deal as what the administration is saying. I'm just going to be honest. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but there needs to be obviously a conversation about the hiring practices and admissions. Because clearly we have been, like I said, Ivy League schools completely diluted now with rhetoric, and the types of people just don't belong there. And it is ridiculous that we fund this Harvard School because we're essentially funding the unwinding of American legacy. Or rather the unfurling of American legacy. So since returning to office, Trump has pushed to reshape top universities by threatening to withhold federal funds that are mostly designed for research. Harvard became the first major U.S. university to reject his administration's demands on Monday, accusing the White House of trying to, quote, control its community. Yeah, because their community needs to be controlled. They're quite unruly. They're putting out nonsense curriculum. In a Tuesday morning post on social media, Trump threatened to go beyond withholding the federal funds and targeted Harvard tax-exempt status. Universities, as well as many charities and religious groups, are exempt from paying federal income taxes. This valuable tax break, though, can be removed if the groups become involved in political activities or move away from their stated purposes, which is something that was supposed to be done over 50 years ago, honestly, because entirely these universities, especially the ones in the East Coast, more from the West Coast here, but especially the Ivy League institutions, have been primarily set in political activities and have been subversive elements in our American culture and in our Americanist culture. Quote, perhaps Harvard should lose its tax-exempt status and be taxed as a political entity, exactly, if it keeps pushing political, ideological, Marxist, and terrorist-inspired supporting sickness. Trump wrote in Truth Social. Remember, tax-exempt status is only contingent on the acting on the public interest. Exactly. I think whatever Trump's doing here is right. I don't like the anti-Semitist angle. I don't think that's the best way to approach this. But whatever it takes, I guess, to get this ball rolling, because like I said, it's the major academic higher ed institutions, hotbeds for postmodernist thinking and thought and Marxist thought, has been subverting our culture for the last 50, 60 years. So something was needing to be done for a long time, and it just took Trump to do it. Okay, let's continue. The sweeping changes demanded by the White House would have transformed Harvard's operations and ceded a large amount of control to the government. Its letter to Harvard on Friday, obtained by the New York Times, said that the university has failed to live up to its, quote, intellectual and civil rights conditions. So they're going by the civil rights angle. That's why they're bringing up anti-Semitism, perhaps. That justify federal investment. The letter included 10 categories for proposed changes, including reporting students to the federal government who are hostile to American values. Beautiful. Ensuring each academic department is, quote, viewpoint diverse. Hiring an external government-approved party to audit programs, departments, and checking faculty staff for plagiarism, which is a big deal, as we've come to find out these last couple of years. Even within the presidents of those institutions. President Trump has accused leading universities of failing to protect Jewish students when college campuses around the country saw protests against the war of Gaza last spring. So anyways, there's an outline of that. Oh, can I not open this article? It doesn't matter. It's basically the same thing that we have just read, but what do you guys think about that? All I gotta say is that it's perhaps time that this has happened. Like I said, the last 50 to 60 years, these major institutions have been hotbeds for subversive elements that are trying to undo the legacy of the Americanist movement, of American values, and of American exceptionalism. And it is, I think, unfortunate that we have to rely on the anti-Semitism and the Gaza war protests to do this, because there is like an argument about Donald Trump's the anti-Semitist policy that could be construed as like against the First Amendment, which I understand could be questionable, but if this is what it takes to spearhead change into these academic institutions that have been major subversive elements in our culture and in our society, then, I'm all for it. And it was needing to be done. And I really do hope that administrations in these institutions will eventually change accordingly. I am, unfortunately, a bit pessimistic about the legacy of these institutions. I think what will it take is the reemergence of brand new academic institutions to replace these old ones, unfortunately. And, I do understand the importance of the legacy of American Ivy League institutions, but I just don't think there's any coming back from it. I think they're so ideologically occupied that nothing will be done to change it. I really do. I think what has to be done, sadly, is to create new ones to replace them, or at the very least, ideologically capture older ones, like what happened in New College in Florida under the purview of DeSantis and Christopher Rufo. For those that don't know, you can Google that, but just Google like Florida New College, Christopher Rufo. But, I think that's the only way about it, because as far as like Ivy League and legacy schools are concerned in the United States, I just think that the damage has been done, but I'm also a pessimist, so I could be wrong, but we do need new institutions to come in and replace those. And you can look to places like Hillsdale College, New College, perhaps, regardless of what you think about Hillsdale. I think it's still better than Harvard. Or even, and I don't know what's happening with Jordan Peterson, but something akin to what the Peterson Academy is trying to be. For those that don't know, Jordan Peterson is trying to make his own academic legacy institution. We'll see how far that goes, but I haven't looked in their curriculum, but something like that where it's an alternative that's still readily accredited is the best foot forward. And I just hope that happens. And I really do hope that conservative intellectuals will do this without completely effing up the conservative movement. You know, I see people like James Lindsay and I get nervous. But there are conservative intellectuals and figureheads out there and thought leaders that I really do think can do this. Like, for instance, I had Paul Gottfried on my show not too long ago. And, you know, utilizing people like that with that intellectual legacy and new ones and new potential figureheads to come in and create these new networks would be amazing. And I do think that we're in the precipice of seeing that happen, actually. But conservatives need to get their shit together long enough for us to do that if we want to be successful. I see a donation from Entropy Nomad, $1. Thank you so much, Entropy Nomad. You wrote, well. If it's not the consequences to my own actions, says Harvard. Exactly. Thank you so much, Entropy Nomad, for your donation. Thank you so much for joining the show today. All right, you guys. I am done blabbing. But I know that's what you guys tune in to watch. I want to thank you all for coming on. Like I said, I made a full recovery. I'm healthy. I'm back. My body is ready. My blood is red, as Alex Jones would say. And I'm here to not kill, but I'm here to make love is what I'm here. To spread love and a loving message to promote Western civilization. Okay, let me do my outro here. Where's my... I'm hungry, man. What a successful stream, you guys. I mean, gosh, we talked about... We brought Leo on. We talked about Pitbulls. We looked at some offensive statistics. I think it was a pretty successful show. And I had fun doing it. I'm glad that you guys could join me. Okay. There we go. Okay, I'm going to do my outro, everyone. Thank you for all that have joined that are new and all the lurkers out there. Feel free to chat once, as soon as you can. Thank you for all the wonderful donations, everybody. Okay.
They gather strong,
thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Like I said, don't forget to stop by the AP4 Liberty Shop that Nelson has dropped in the chat. I hope you guys have a blessed evening, and let's continue in reclaiming the zeitgeist, reclaiming the discourse, and changing American culture for the better. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening and a wonderful upcoming Easter weekend. Good Friday's coming up. So I hope you guys have a relaxing evening and take lessons that we've learned here with your loved ones, with your families, with your friends. And I will see you on Thursday, everybody. And then hopefully on Saturday for the Saturday night gaming stream. God bless and Godspeed.
Dreams that won't decay, marching proudly through the day. In the eagle's shadow by, we find our strength and take our pride. Let the voices echo loud, tearing through the waiting crowd. We've got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the Reds are going down. Across the plains and mountains tall, hear the victory call. With courage and with might we strive in the light of freedom's sky. We got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the